Good morning, good evening, and good night, everybody. My name is Sarah, and today I'm just so happy to talk about this book. Let's Talk About Love by Kann. The fact that this book exists is it immediately deserves all the recognition in the world, and I'm so upset not enough people are talking about this because this book, I don't know how to talk about it properly without going into deep spoilers. But let's go over the basics real first. This book follows a black, asexual, biromantic main character who is beautiful, obviously. And it's her life in college. Yes, it's a young adult book, but it deals with people in college, which a lot of people have been asking for recently. And I'm just saying, this is out there. It is a young adult contemporary romance, which is everything I don't care to read, and yet this book made me love it. It made me this book, you guys. I'm trying to tell everyone to read it without telling them to read it, but seriously, this book. First of all, let's get this out of the way. There's a pun on the cover. Alice is about to ace this whole dating thing, and I'm just puns and asexuality just go together, and I'm so happy. There's not enough puns in the book, but the fact that there's one on the cover kind of makes up for it. Also, there's a little ace card on the side, I don't know, and I don't know, it's purple, and it's white, and this book is just so aesthetically pleasing, and that really kind of goes along with the theme of this book. Asexuality means a person who does not experience sexual attraction. That doesn't mean they don't experience physical attraction or aesthetic attraction. Alice, the main character of this book, actually has a rating system she calls the cutie code. It's basically her way of describing to her friends how cute she thinks something is. Alice loves cute things, but what cute is to her might be different what cute is to someone else. Talking about her friends, I actually really love how they had the character dynamic in this, because Alice is living with her two friends, and her two friends are engaged, and they've been engaged for a while, but they're still a family. Together they are a family. But you can probably tell by this, just somebody living with an engaged couple, there's gonna be some tension, and that is dealt with so well in this book. I can't talk about it because a lot of it happens near the ending of the book, and it spoils so much, but it's just, the way they dealt with it is really amazing. Now, in the beginning of the book, Alice is being dumped by her girlfriend. The book opens up with a breakup, which is actually pretty amazing, because the reason why her girlfriend is breaking up with Alice is because Alice doesn't enjoy sex. Alice didn't tell her girlfriend that she was asexual. She wasn't comfortable telling people this. And so that causes some problems. We get a little bit of her backstory. She started to realize what exactly was going on with her back in high school, and she was forcing herself into relationships that she didn't want, and ultimately only hurt her in the end. And the fact that it was continuing to college, and it has to be dealt with in this book, because they handled it in such a way that it's understandable why these people broke up with Alice, because yes, Alice is having sex with them, but at the same time, she doesn't enjoy it. She doesn't do anything. She's called the corpse. She just lays there. So we open up with a breakup, and Alice is absolutely devastated. But she moves on with her life, so she continues going to school, she continues going to work. Alice works at a library, and very early on we realize there's a new guy in the block. He works at the library as well, and Alice has to show him around the ropes real quickly. And the minute she sees him, he breaks her cutie code. The cutie code reaches its top at level red. This guy gets to a level black. Another amazing thing about representation in this book is that this boy, he's Japanese. So yes, there's a lot of people in this book who are just you want to find character you relate to, read this book. It's there. Now, I pronounced the character's name wrong, and the reason that is, I call him Tamaki. And if any of you have seen Orange High School Host Club, you know who Tamaki is. This guy has a name spelled very similar to Tamaki. Switch the K and the M and you get this guy's name. I can't get myself to say it because every time I try to say it, I say Tamaki instead of Tamki, I think. I'm gonna call him Tamaki, because that, in my mind, is how you say his name, even though it's not. Tamaki has had a lot of relationships in the past, and yes, they've all ended on fairly decent terms, but the last girl he broke up with, it was a very long relationship, and he honestly considered marrying this girl before they ended up breaking up. And so he's in a spot very similar to where Alice is. They don't know what to do with their love life anymore. So Alice meets Tamaki, and she is like all the way in there. And it's adorable, and I love it. And the way they handle it, it's like, it's aesthetic attraction. Like, yes, he's beautiful, but it's not only that. The way he moves, the way he acts, the way he laughs. Like, she's like in love with this person, even though she doesn't know him too well. And the book goes over their friendship. They become friends and they move on. And all the while, Alice is realizing she really cares about this person. But if she has to go out with him, she has to tell him that she's asexual. That if they become a thing, sex isn't really an option. Like, she'll do it, but she's not staying with someone if sex is only to make them happy. Romantic relationships aren't the only thing going on in this book. Because Alice is going to college, her family has a lot of expectations for her. She comes from a family of law. All of her family were lawyers, and they expect her to be a lawyer as well. And Alice doesn't want to do that, like at all. She is the youngest in her family by far. She has 2 older siblings, and she was an accident. She was not supposed to be born, and yet she was, and so she's a lot younger than all her siblings. All her siblings have already gone through law school. They've already gotten jobs in the real world. Alice doesn't want to do that, though. But her parents are pushing her in that direction, and she's trying to find a way out. But they're the ones paying for her college, and she's not exactly going to a cheap school. So she has to find a way to tell her parents she's not going to become a lawyer and not get disowned by the end of that conversation. I cannot stress how much I love this book, because it deals with so many situations correctly. Like, you can't get these kind of books where they handle minority people in a way that it's not focusing on the minority, but it's also bringing attention that that is a fact in this world. Yes, Alice is bisexual, but she broke up with her girlfriend, and now she happens to be in love with a guy. Like, that is treated normally, and that is kind of hard to find, honestly. Even though the book is about Alice being asexual, it's not focused on that. Like, it's a part of her life. It's a part of her struggle. It is her struggle, but it's not treated as a bad thing. It's just treated as a thing that she doesn't know how to handle, because she doesn't know anyone like her that knows how to handle this situation. Partway through the book, she ends up going to a counselor, and the counselor really helps her. Even though she doesn't have problems going on in her life, the fact that there's someone there to talk to is a great thing for Alice, and I feel like it's something that needs to be discussed in a lot more books. Counseling isn't just for people in trouble, it's for people who just need to talk and have someone to listen to them. And the fact that they're handling it, not only with Alice's asexuality, but the fact that she's in these relationships and she's having some troubles with friendships and families, the counselor is there for her to get some things off her chest and have some character development without it making it feel forced. This book is just, I've said this so many times already, but it's amazing, and I love it, and it's not perfect. It's not perfect. This is the author's debut novel, and for it being a debut novel, like, this is probably the best debut novel that I've read. It's actually a very interesting story of how this book came to be. This author wrote this for something called Swoon Reads, and she put it out there, and the readers decided that this was the book to be published. And so it shows that there is a need for these types of books. There is a want for books like this cute, fluffy, August, like, it deals with so many things, and it deals with them well. Overall, I have to give this book a 13 out of 13. Yeah, there is problems, but it exists, and it's in my hand, and it's not a perfect book, but I'm rating it like it's a perfect book, because in my mind it is, and that's all that matters. Thank you so much for watching my review. If you have any books like that you think I might like, or just want me to read something completely out of left field, I might do it. Leave it down in the comment section below. And while you're there, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And as always, good night, good evening, and good morning, everybody.